The Victorian State Rose Garden is one of Australia's iconic tourist attractions and is a trip you cannot not go by. For families and friends that travel to Victoria during the period of November to April are able to witness amazing sights and experiences and is a destination that cannot be missed. The Victorian State Rose Garden is an internationally acclaimed garden which features within over 5,000 rose species. Spreading over 6 acres of land, the Rose Garden is located in the prestigious grounds of Werribee Park, Victoria, Australia. The Victorian State Rose Garden is located approximately 34 kilometres from the city of Melbourne. The admittance to the garden is free, and upon arrival, for those visitors that have travelled around the world to witness the garden, need to catch a train to Werribee Station from their initial location and walk 5 kilometres to Werribee Park. To return home, the same procedure is reversed. However, caring and supportive volunteers at the park are able to give visitors a ride back to Werribee train station. The Rose Guard supporting team contains enthusiastic volunteers who are willing to give their assistance when needed and make the journey as easy as possible for all tourists. In addition, if locals wish to be volunteers and assist the Werribee Park staff, they are able to put their interest through Facebook. The Rose Garden was initially announced as the Garden State by the Premier Mr. Rupert Harmer on the 3rd of 1976. This was later diverted to the Rose Garden by the Honorary Secretary of the National Rose Society of Australia, Mr. Jim Priestley. Such location was established in Australia to provide an educational value to the horticulturists and the public, and for the existence of public rose gardens in major interstate. During the development of the Rose Garden, in August of 1997, a heritage border was created as a means to utilise the fence line between the mansion and the Rose Garden. Such act was assisted by the Werribee Park staff and a grant given from Grants Park Victoria. Along the fence line, 44 varieties of old roses and climbing species in order to form the hedge are on the fence. This, in later of 1998, a front row of the bush of 49 varieties of the heritage roses was planted. Later, in 2000, more heritage roses were planted 400 metres along the border. In the same year, the centenary of the Federation had granted the permission to create the Federation leaf, which consisted of 50 beds of roses bred by Australians themselves. The centre of the leaf is a grassed area, where 5 callistemons were planted to create the Southern Cross and to provide shelter for visitors. The Federation leaf was then connected to the Tudor rose by a gravel path to represent the stem of the rose. The Rose Garden contains a rosebud which was donated by David Austin in the early year of 2001. This consists of 60 varieties of both climbing and also bush roses. This area has been retained by the associates of Werribee Park as a means of retaining a more formal area. If you are interested, make sure you visit the Victorian State Rose Garden to enjoy the sunlight and also the beautiful sceneries.